And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and killed him. And the Lord said to Cain, "Where is Abel your brother?" And he said, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" And God said, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries to me from the ground." That's what DNA evidence did in this particular case. Joseph James DeAngelo had literally gotten away with murder for more than 40 years. But similar to Abel's blood that cried to God from the ground, the DNA of these victims matched with the DNA of killer Joseph James DeAngelo. Cried, and justice was met finally after 40 years. There was no such thing as DNA analysis, DNA science in the 70s and the 80s. I think it existed, but it wasn't used as a forensic science until the early 90s. And DNA analysis tied the Golden State Killer, Joseph James DeAngelo, to the killing of Keith Harrington and his wife Patrice Harrington. They were killed August 19th, 1980 in their home in Dana Point, California. Patrice was 4 years older than Keith, but regardless of the slight age difference, they were quite a bit in love. Patrice was working as a nurse when she married Keith. Keith was a medical student. They were married only in a few months after they met. And they were both going on with their careers and their lives and their dream jobs when suddenly the Golden State Killer struck. He had been, as was his modus operandi, he had been stalking the couple, he had been casing the neighborhood, and he broke into their house and killed them very violently. Their graves are right here, just over here. Take a walk over there. Keith, ow, hit my head on a branch. Keith and his lovely wife Patrice were found bludgeoned to death in their home on Cockershell Drive in Dana Point. This is their grave right here. Patrice had also been violated. She was bludgeoned so severely her face and skull were just basically smashed in. Their wrists and ankles were bound, and Joseph DeAngelo got away. I'm not going to go into any more details because they're pretty horrifying. As with the other two videos, I'm going to leave a link in the description if you're curious about more. Joseph DeAngelo, his DNA and their DNA cried from the ground, just like Abel's blood did, and finally got justice. Lovely couple. I call them a very noble couple, but they didn't have a chance against this former police officer turned violent criminal. In their honor, there's their stone. Rest in peace, noble couple. I'm so sad and sorry this happened to them. Interesting note I have here, Keith's brother Bruce, he spent $2 million of his own money supporting California Proposition 69, which authorized DNA collection from all California felons and certain other criminals. That was on the ballot in 1996. I voted for it. And in 2018, because of that ballot, eventually the police discovered who the real killer was. And he's in Corcoran prison today. Abel's blood cried from the ground and got justice. Their DNA cried from the ground and got justice. But the real justice yet awaits Joseph DeAngelo. Rest in peace, O noble couple. I would love to have known you and to have had a cup of coffee with you. And my condolences to your lovely family.